Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Tappers Talk podcast. And I believe this is episode 4.
It
And
is.
so, yes, oh, good, very good. And so, today we are joined by Grimokan, who is our special guest. And so we're going to be introducing Grimokan in a moment. But today we have got a lot to go through. So, firstly, we're just going to start with a short. We're going to talk to Grimokan about them and their channel and everything. And then we're going to be going through the Splash and Burn update. And then we're going to be answering the question of is it the right time for the Phil Hartman characters to be released? And then we're going to be having a look to the show. Wait, hang on a minute. I haven't got the episode name written down.
Brush
Does
with
anyone?
greatness.
Brushes with greatness.
Brilliant. There we go. So yeah, we're going to be having a look at that. And then we're going to be having a look at the Flash and the Past, the Superheroes update, and then we're going to be doing a short Q&A at the end. So, Grimokan, tell us a little bit about what you do on your channel.
Good evening, I'm Grimokan, short Grim for short. You might remember me for being the guy who was responsible for the Goosebumps Horror Town playthroughs. I might also have done the Addams Family Mystery Mansion. I've covered games from the Pixel Company and other town builders. I've also been starting to do Tapped Out. I did back in the past, back in 2018, but stopped midway because of complications. But I'm back now, baby. And this update is going to be the one that I'm coming back on. So I can't wait to show you what I have in store.
Awesome. Great intro. So yeah, let's get
Thank
started.
you.
That was cinematic.
Thank you.
It
Yeah.
was.
I'm much of an entertainer. That's one of the things I do. I like to try to make people to kind of not laugh, but almost kind of have a smile on their face. So
I
I've
had a
always
smile on my
tried to
face
be.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, me
Me
too.
Yeah.
too.
And the way I kind of did this type introduction is also a bit of short foreshadowing for something that's coming up. So,
Oh, okay.
as you mentioned before, yeah.
So yeah, everyone want to talk about Splash and Burn.
Wait. We're not done with talking to Grim here. Okay. I would like.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Anyone got any questions for Grim first before I go?
yes, please.
So, oh no,
Here,
go.
Arthur can go first.
Okay, that's very kind. Yeah. So, what brought you to start uploading on your channel?
Oh, an interesting question. Good question indeed. I started my channel at first back in 2016 as a live streams of sorts. This was responsible because I've watched a few people. I believe the inspiration was a group called Fine Sauce. When I saw them, I was like, oh, I wanted to do this type of stuff. But that's neither here or there. I've kind of done this until like 2018. When that happened, I ended up getting a new phone. This phone, I think it's an Android. I'm not sure what model it was, but one of the interesting features that came with it was allowed to record gameplay. So I ended up like been playing these games for years. I figured, and I've seen Casey Loves Gaming. I'm sure if I'm familiar if you guys are familiar with him. He's
Yeah.
done yeah. So he's did Systems and Tapped Out stuff before. So I watched his stuff, and he also covered Goosebumps. And I'm like, you know what? Let me try this out, like out of curiosity, because I like making videos rather than doing the whole live stream thing. And that was like relatively small, like not even 100 subscribers. So I figured, do this type of stuff. So I tried it out. And that's when I started making videos, and I ended up starting to focus on one particular game. And slowly but surely, I ended up getting myself into that little community there. So I ended up kind of doing that and focusing my attention. Now, as of why I stopped, I kind of started with the Simpsons Tapped Out from the superhero mini update back in 2018, and then kind of started with the Treehouse of Horror of that year, and then immediately stopped, was because I looked on YouTube at the time, and there was like lots of people who were covering for Tapped Out. So, as a small channel, I wanted to focus on something that might help me kind of get noticed. So, I looked at one game in particular, which was Goosebumps Horror Town, and I thought, hey, no one's doing this coverage the way I'm doing it, so why don't I just focus on this? And that's why I kind of been just focusing on that one particular game. But last year, that game ended up having some complications due to legal disputes. So what ended up happening was I ended up having to find other games and mediums, and that's when I kind of looked back at Tapped Out, and I was like, maybe I should come back to this since I haven't. Like the thing is, I didn't even start doing like video stuff, but I have still been recording gameplay stuff of Tapped Out since. So I've been playing it for a long time. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try this out. So yeah, that's pretty much how I've kind of gotten into doing videos.
Wow, cool story.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
awesome.
Alright.
Do you have a
Uh,
question for me, Bort?
yeah, just not many people are quite interested in this, but just what your like thoughts are on Horror Town and like it's coming back. Um,
Uh, oh, right. Okay, sure. So, I've been very close to the company who've kind of been making this game, and I'm kind of excited to kind of do this again since that was kind of like my bread and butter, and I've kind of been focusing on that type of stuff. It's nice that it's coming back, but it's in a smaller format, kind of like what happened with most games that lasted this long. They end up becoming this kind of in the particular like a smaller team focus on this. So their way of doing it is basically doing update every other month. But yeah, I'm kind of excited this thing is back, especially to be able to celebrate its 30th anniversary. That was I think last month. So I mean, there's an update still going on to celebrating that, but until then, there was just like, yeah, there's future plans coming up, which I'm very excited for people who play that game to see come through. I think the next one is going to be for Halloween coming up this year.
yeah, I'm very excited about that too. It's a really fun game. I hope more people become interested in it because it's pretty underrated in like the town building community.
Oh, definitely. And I thought it's interesting the way they do craftings and whatnot. And I've started to see people start coming back to the game. So it's good that it's slowly starting to get its stuff picked up again. So, and I think the reason why I kind of came back after the whole legal thing was because and this was according to them, apparently back in the end of the year, Scholastics decided to give the rights to Sony to be able to do merchandise stuff. So as far as anything that deals with the Goosebumps property goes, if you wanted to make a game or do something license wise, you go to them. No longer Scholastic is owned by that. So they're just focusing on the books. So I think that's why the game kind of came back in the way it did for licensing reasons, is because Sony is now owning it.
Yeah. MagnusRobert, did you have a question for him as well?
Yeah, I would.
Yes.
I would like to know why are you sort of gravitating, or at least at the moment anyway, towards like mobile games?
Interesting question. I think it's because it's the easier format to kind of do stuff with. Like when it came to live streams, the problem that I had before was timing wise. Due to my scheduling, because I work a night shift, the times where I'm able to kind of stream is limited to what kind of process. Because when you do streams, you have to do it by a constant every day. You have to do it at a certain time. And I found that it was kind of getting difficult for me to do that because there are some days that may not be able to be on time.
Hmm.
So I thought doing mobile games would be a lot more easier because at least then I'm able to do it whenever I want to, and I can just record gameplay whenever. Like I can just be out and about, I can be at work, and I can just play the game and record and do it there. So it's a lot easier for me to kind of get little clips in here and there and be able to kind of, in the end of the day, during the weekends, work on adding some of the content and video stuff into my editor and then just kind of process through that stuff and be able to upload. I find it more enjoyable to kind of do editing rather than doing live streams. And I still like doing live streams, and I'm hoping to come back to doing that. But I don't know. I've just gotten used to doing the editing for videos, and I find it's a lot more enjoyable to be able to kind of put in some memes and whatnot in there to
Yeah,
have some fun with it.
that's fair.
Especially this next video. Yeah, especially with this video coming up for the this update we're about to talk about, which is the Splash and Burn one. I'm quite curious to see how my viewer base will interact with it because I'm going to be doing something a little bit differently. Like a lot of you guys would always look at certain updates, and I know Casey does this too, where he's like every prize he does a certain video. I'm doing it as one long video, so it's like an hour and a half. I put timestamps on certain areas, which is a key point, but basically this video is just to focus on the whole update, just whatever's new in there. So
Yeah.
see how that turns out.
Well, I don't tend to
yeah.
do gameplay. I only do it for the premium stuff. I only tend to do a review.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I can't go through. I can't do what BoRt and ElloArfur do, and Casey loves gaming. I can't do that. It's too tedious.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I will say
Yeah,
that, especially
yeah.
trying to keep it entertaining for people to watch. Right,
Yeah.
that's the other thing.
Oh yeah, I have a very low watch time.
Oh, I
So-
know, but it'll grow. It'll grow. Don't worry. I mean, it
Yeah.
starts small, but then it gets bigger. It's just so long as you keep at it, it'll happen.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyone have any more questions?
No, let's
Now,
transition.
let's do this
we're
Splash and Burn.
over the time limit, so we're transitioning.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk
Sorry
about
about
Splash
that.
and Burn.
It's alright. Alright, yeah, Splash and Burn.
So what are people's thoughts on the update and stuff?
You should go first, me or
Whoever's ready.
Alright, I'll start. I like aspects of this update. I like the theme. I think it's a pretty solid theme, doing like a sort of water park update and focusing mainly on, the Mount Splashmore 2 segments that we've got in. We got one in season 2, and there was one in like season 29 or 30 as well, I think, as well.
I think it was 32,
Was it
33, the most recent one.
Was
yeah.
it the most recent one? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like the fact that they've kind of focused on that. I think, with the timing, it being summer, makes sense. It's, it feels right to have that. However, I really think there's a lot of mishaps in this update. I think Paul Flart could have worked as a character, but I just think he's very dull, very boring. Even in the questline, he reads like a one-note character. And he's
And it was weird.
He's a lazy parody character as well, I think.
And what's weird about it too was when I saw him at first, my first thought was he kind of looks like the guy from Paul Blart from the Mall Cop. And then sure, I see his name being Paul Flark, and I'm like, okay, that's what they're going with. And then all of a sudden, within the quest line, they just flat out admit it. And I'm just like, that is such the metaest thing I've ever seen. Like, why would they go ahead and say, oh, this is exactly what we're doing? And it's just like, okay. I'm not even sure if that character had a name at first. They just added that in there.
No, I'm pretty sure it did have a name before, because I've
There.
Oh, he did. Okay, so they might have been from the okay. Sorry, I'm not familiar with it. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with the newer episodes as of late. I kind of come into the Halloween ones like most people do, so the newer stuff I'm kind of like in and out on sometimes.
Yeah, it wasn't a great. I think it was like a 2-second segment where Homer goes to watch a movie.
Yeah, it literally was that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm remembering it. Yeah.
And then Swimsuit Homer. It's an okay costume. It's looks wise, it doesn't look anything special, but I kind of liked some of the quest line, and I liked one of the animations. Although there's like raccoons in one of them for absolutely no reason. I don't understand the obsession.
Yeah,
with
they
raccoons.
just love the Christmas raccoons, don't they? There's like anytime they can put like animals in there, there's like Christmas raccoons in there right now. They just seem to have a fetish for that.
Yeah.
And what's weird about with the swimsuit Homer is I believe is a combination of two. I think it's the Speedo Homer and then also swimsuit Homer, because swimsuit Homer is different. His swimsuit was more of the kind of like happy face, sad face kind of thing that he had on there. Well, this one's kind of like the Speedo one, but his body suggests it's the swimsuit, so it's kind of weird to combine the two. But I guess they wanted to do something with the quest line and have it kind of wrap itself around to the end there.
Yeah, mix it up well.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like the swimsuit Brockman thing either. I think
I did not even try.
Yeah, I've watched your guys. Yeah, I've watched your guys' videos, and I'm like, okay, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, and then
and that's my.
Sorry.
Because I was about to say, for me, like, I'm not sure about you guys, but when it comes to like, I live up in Canada, so something that was like 13 something turns into 27 something, and I'm like, no, thank you. That's too much money. Yeah, it's too much money for my Canuck money. So it's like, if I'm gonna buy a character, it better be something good. And I know Cat Brockman doesn't have much costume wise, but it's still kind of like a very lackluster costume. And decoration that comes with it is like it's interesting, but it's nothing to write home about.
Yeah, it's not. I do like how they're like adding costumes and buildings together now, so at least
It's
it's
a
something.
decoration,
But
though. That's the thing.
it's a decoration.
Yeah,
Ah,
for
I
your
didn't
Yeah.
know that.
building.
Ah,
That's like if it was a building, I think I would be a bit more
Lenient.
okay with it, But it's a decoration, and it should be a building. Like, why is the H2O a building and not the Void? It doesn't make any sense. They're the same.
Yeah.
Functionally, they're the same. They're a theme park ride. So if one's a building, the other should be a building. And that kind of leads me on to my other criticism: is I think the prize track would have been okay if the Wave Walker and the other ride, what was it? The Devil's.
Devil's Deluge.
Yeah,
I think that's what they said.
if those two were buildings, as well as obviously H2O, if all three of those were buildings, I think I'd be a lot more okay with this update. But they make them decorations, and I'm not really sure why.
I get like the little like kitty rides, like the sunscreen thing.
I'm okay.
Those
I'm
make
okay
sense
with
as
them
decorations.
Yeah, I'm okay. I think with the only one, I would be like a little what was it called? There was one of them that I was like either or.
Was it the frog one?
Yeah, the water toads one. I think that one I'm either or on. That could be a decoration or a building. I don't think I would care too much, but
That's like
definitely
a permanent animation, and I'm surprised they don't have it like the frog smiles every like in the episode. It's like this thing doesn't do anything. It's like, oh no, it makes the frog smile. You don't see that. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't love it when they don't add when they make buildings decorations because then most of the time there's no character tasks with them, which means no animation besides maybe one when you click on it, and that doesn't show everything.
Yeah, exactly. Arthur, what is your opinions on the update? You haven't spoken much about it yet.
No, well, I think I've got quite a controversial view here. I think I really, really enjoyed the update actually. So I thought that the prizes were really cool. I thoroughly enjoyed the dialogue, and I think definitely Paul Flart was probably the one low point. I think, but the inconsistency with the rides and the buildings doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't bother me as much. But something they did do with this update was the money and XP bonus percentage boost, which I thought was.
Oh, they did that with that?
Really
I didn't
cool.
notice. Oh,
Yeah,
that's great.
it's
I'm glad that they're doing that
16%.
now.
Like all of the decorations in the update is like 14%. Yeah, that's what it was. And
That's gonna be really good for like XP farming for a lot of people.
yeah, definitely, and it's something they haven't done for years. So yeah, I was really pleased with that, and I think the slides were really cool.
Yeah, I really liked the building that Paul Flart came with. That one was really cool.
Yeah,
I think
Mount
if
Slash
anything,
floor.
they really did a good job when it comes to putting the water stuff in there. I mean, it's been like 10 years, and I'm surprised they finally decided to add water park into the mix. But
I think
the
like
items and I think the items they included were pretty much good and spot on with, and then the story kind of leads to one of the buildings, so it's kind of interesting. I do get why H2O decided to be the last grand prize is because of the infamous scene involved with Homer in that one, which I'm very surprised they didn't have that like lead on there. Like he didn't have a little animation with Homer getting stuck on it again, but I guess he's slimmer now. But what I find interesting with the dialogue with this update is that they decided to bring back King Snorky, and near the end with the sign, they actually had Old Scratch be the "You must be this tall to ride" sign, and I thought, oh, that's interesting.
I saw
At first, when I first saw that, I thought, oh, is Old Scratch going to be in this update again? It's like,
I
no,
thought the
it's just
same thing.
fine.
I was really hoping.
It's like, oh, he's like, what is he telling Bart? But no, it's the sign. So I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I get it. But it's nice to see Old Scratch again, especially since his update back in 2020. I thought that was really,
That's one of my
it would
like
have been missed
earliest
opportunity,
updates.
but missed opportunity. But oh well, at least he's there in spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have been in the store. It wouldn't have hurted, but yeah.
Yeah.
What did everyone think of H2O as a final prize?
I thought H2O was okay. I remember a while back. I think it might have been 21. they had it like a few times in a few updates where when they had buildings in the end of the prize track, they also added a token with them, which I was like, oh, if you're gonna add a building, it's nice to have a token.
Yeah,
And
I
I
think
kind
that's
of
always the
wish
best solution to do that. Yeah.
that, yeah, if you don't
Yeah.
have a character, building and a token is great. But
Yeah. Or just an item in a token. It doesn't have to be
yeah,
a building necessarily.
but yeah, noting on it, I think H2O is a pretty okay building. I liked like the design of all the buildings this update. They looked really nice and pretty episode accurate. But yeah, H2O was great. I feel like it could have used more animation though.
I
Yeah.
don't like H2O as a building. I think it's far too small. I think they've scaled it down. If you look at like the sort of grandioseness of it in the episode, it's meant to be like huge, and then we see this big ass line going all around the park.
Yeah, I was hoping for something.
They have to use a crane to like lift one of the one of the
I'm
pipes
surprised,
out.
yeah.
That's how tall it is. You need a crane, and in the game it just looks. It looks tiny. I think this should be as big as the tooth chipper. It should be at that size. I think.
Yeah.
So knowing people,
make it a grand prize,
would,
make it big, yeah.
Yeah, it's
knowing people,
prize.
They would get like super annoyed with the size of it and be because a lot of people don't have much land left.
I don't like these people. These people who have always complained about the sizes of buildings. They annoy me because I know. No. I understand why, because it is annoying. Like, there's a lot of like skyscrapers and stuff in the game. Like a lot of the heights buildings as well. I think are just eyesores and they get in the way. And it's annoying to decorate them because obviously they'll block other designs unless you put them like the edges of your town. So I understand that, but at the same breath, like it just doesn't look like a good final prize. You know, it's just minuscule to me. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people I get why they decided to put the H2O as the final prize per se, just because of how much significance of the story. I mean, not within this story, but when it came to what that item represents in the actual episode, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But it's just weird that a lot of people were disappointed. They're like, oh, there's no Homer task of him getting stuck in the pipes again, because that was such a very funny scene when that happened.
Yeah, and also thinking about it, I feel like with the story, Devil's Deluge should have been the end of the prize because that was what it was all leading up to.
It should have been, yeah.
But I don't know how much to say.
Makes sense, but
I do say with the Devil's Deluge, I will do like the fact that they kind of have an animation with it, and it kind of has a clip within the actual episode of them sliding down the slide. But I found interesting was there's actually an animation with him. So, the first one, he goes down the slide and he goes in the pool just fine. And then out of nowhere, and I was surprised by this, but there's another animation where he gets flung out and he basically just misses the pool entirely. I'm just like, oh shit, that kid's
I didn't see
that. Yeah,
I reported it. I'm just like, whoa, okay, that kid's died. I'm surprised about it too. Yeah.
Does anyone have anything else to say?
I think the final thing is that there was a decoration bundle in the prize track.
Oh yeah, that was very cool.
That was nice.
Yeah.
I liked how they did that type of thing.
Yeah, and all of those had money and XP percentage boost as well. So that was pretty cool, and I thought they were all pretty good decorations. So yeah.
Always trust ElloArfur to find the positiveness in everything.
You need to always have the positive guy in there. Yeah, you always need to be the positive guy at some things. You can't always be negative.
No, it's good to balance. It'd be awful if we were all just hating on it. No, I'm not dissing. All right, let's end it then with giving our scores out of 10 for this update. So I'll start with Arthur. We'll keep it positive.
Oh, I'd say I'm gonna go with an 8.
An 8? Okay.
I'll go with a 7. That's kind of my normal with everything. But yeah. I do feel like it's a 7 altogether.
Grim?
Now, for me, it's like hard for me to do reviews like the 1 to 10 type of thing. I tend to look at it like, okay, is this better than the other updates? So as of now, I do like this compared to the other small updates we have. But if I had to give a number score, I would say maybe a 7.5, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's more good than bad. So I'm gonna go with exactly. I'm gonna go with a 6.
There you go.
Hey, we've got good balance.
Yeah, that's a good balance.
Yes. Definitely.
All right. Do you want to transfer us to our next segment, please, Arthur?
Oh boy.
So, the next question that we're going to be answering today is going to be: is it the right time to finally add Phil Hartman characters to that town?
Ooh, there you go. That's a very interesting question. I'm wondering if people who listen into this who know who that is.
Yeah, so I'm the one who proposed this one. So just a bit of background. Obviously, Phil Hartman is the guy who voiced Troy McClure, Lionel Hutz, and obviously Lyle Lanley. Is that his name? Lyle Lanley?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lyle Lanley. Yeah. As well as a few other minor characters here and there. For example, he voiced God in one episode, and he also voiced for example, what's his name? Plato, the Plato guy from the Plato's Casino. Like a few minor. I think the German guy as well who visits. I forget his name, but the German guy.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think he's like one of the main cast members when you think about it. Like the main character, like he plays 2 main characters, but then he also does other character stuff, like how the other actors are there. Well, so if he was around, he might have had his voice still around.
Yeah, well, he tended to voice characters where he was obviously needed. So if he was voicing Troy McClure on one episode, he might voice like another minor character in that episode as well. He was technically though a guest appearance, like he would only appear here and there. But unfortunately, I forget exact date. But Phil Hartman was murdered. So when that happened, his characters were retired. And when I say his characters, it was really just Troy McClure, Lionel Hutz, and I guess Lyle Lanley as well. But Lyle Lanley was a kind of a one episode character anyway.
Yeah, and it's weird that they did that. Like, I don't know what the whole thing is with them and the family of what they exactly agreed upon, but normally when they have something like this happen, you would think that they would do some sort of, like, tribute of, like, and, like, usually when you see characters die, like, I give an example, Edna Krabappel's actor, when she passed away, they kind of had a send-off with Edna. Like, she was still kind of around, but not voiced, but then eventually they kind of had a send-off with her. With these 2 characters and the characters they voiced, they just kind of like one day they just disappeared. They no longer exist. They don't even get mentioned at all. So it's
think
very
the point
weird.
The point of the characters, they were kind of like trashy people, and it just like and comparing to Edna Krabappel was like the nice teacher who like secretly cared, and I feel like. It doesn't like completely have a tribute.
Well, I think another reason as well is Edna Krabappel is kind of integral to the story. She's Bart's teacher. Yeah. So if she doesn't appear for like 3 seasons, it makes no sense. So they kind of have to address that. Whereas Lionel Hutz and Troy McClure is a character. Troy McClure is a character who doesn't even interact with the Simpsons apart from that one episode, and Lionel Hutz is really just. Whenever they need legal advice, they go to him. Yeah.
They replace that with Gil anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, in terms of, like, was it right to retire the characters? I mean, there's no one who can replace the Phil Hartman, so I think it was
definitely fair. Especially with his voice. So yeah. I mean, it was only fair to retire him, because the worst case scenarios, then you get weird voice actors replacing the voices, and it doesn't sound right. Like right now, like I've watched newer episodes, that I cannot get behind the voices for Carl and Dr. Hibbert. It's not like I have no offense to the voice actor who's doing them now, but it's very weird once you're so used to a character for 30 years or so, and then you hear something new, it kind of sounds off, right?
I think
Marge's voice now, like it's a lot more older, so it's a lot more weirder sounding compared to how she was before, but that's just kind of like whatever. It's just personal opinions.
I can't stand Marge's new voice. I know it's the same actress.
No, not can I.
It sounds really.
I know a lot of people talk about it, but
it's not
I don't hear like a full difference. I know a lot of people say that it's like it's very different, but for some reason I can't like hear a huge difference.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, I
Yeah.
notice it.
I can.
Yeah.
The other thing is that Carl, the voice like is weird for me, but Dr. Hibbert is slightly less weird because he's voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
a good
mind.
voice actor. I love his
Yeah,
voice. Like when
he's
it
a
comes to
very
other characters, yeah, when
and
it comes to
but
other
he's
characters,
also done stuff on The Simpsons before, so I'm
yeah,
a bit more used to it.
All right.
yeah, like with him doing other characters, I get behind him. I'm like, yeah, I can totally hear that. But when
Yeah.
it comes to established characters, like, eh. But
All right. Shall
anyways,
we actually get
let's
to
go
the? Should
right
we
back.
actually get to the question because we haven't even answered the
Yes.
question yet?
Let's get to
Okay.
the top.
Okay.
The top.
So, is it the right time to add Phil Hartman's characters? Has enough time passed since his death, and considering this is just to the Tapped Out game, and it does not affect the canon of the show, because of course Tapped Out is non-canonical to the show, is it right, would it be right, if they were to add both Troy McClure and Lionel Hutz primarily? Those are the two we're going to focus on.
Can I start if anyone
Yeah,
else
you can
wants
start.
to?
Yeah, go for it.
So, honestly, I'm gonna say no. They did have a quick second appearance of Lyle Landley in a questline, but
I was going to mention that. I was like, that
yeah,
was so weird to see that happen. It's like, oh wait, this character popped in and immediately just disappears, and I'm just like, oh okay.
but
They have the
the thing
full
about
character
him,
model and everything, and then it's just like, he's gone.
yeah, but I feel like he's such a big actor for the show, but like it would just seem so weird to have his characters in the game after so long. I feel like it might like just a lot of people would be against it, especially the fact that the Simpson team is working on the show, on the game.
Yeah.
I feel like they would be very against it as well, especially the actors who have worked with him and the writers as well. I just feel like they retired him for a reason. I feel like there's no like getting his approval. I feel like it just doesn't work out in no way. Though I would like him in the game, I don't think it would ever happen.
A lot of us would want them because they're such iconic characters from the first few like decades when they appeared, right? They came in some of the episodes, and it was just like, like Troy McClure, for example, he's famous for that one line he does, like what I did before. You might remember me for such films as blah blah. I think he's always
Yeah.
there. This is a weird actor who just plays in such the randomest things, and yet he's there, and he names certain random things he appeared in. We're like, okay, but yeah, no, I mean. It's been interesting to see them still kind of hanging around, but like personally for me, I would want them to be in the game. But like what you're saying, BoRt, I don't know if they'll be able to just because of how long it's been since they've kind of just ignored them, and they don't know if the backlash will happen because of the problem is he didn't like die normally or like passed away from a sickness or something like that. No, he died
Yeah.
in that's a very, very gruesome way, which is kind of like so you kind of have the weird subject matter of trying to touch it. So they kind of figured it'd be easier just to kind of let's not even bother touching it, just leave it as such, and then just kind of move on.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Arthur, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I think I'd love to see them as characters in the game, and I think if they were released as characters, maybe. I don't know. I feel like it's a kind of tribute. It's unlikely, but I'd still like to see them. Yeah, I think probably without a voice would be the right thing to do if they were to do it, and
Yeah.
yeah,
be weird.
yeah.
Drink that.
So without a voice, but maybe like they could have. I don't know. Instead of characters, they could have like more involvement in some of the newer quest lines or something. So it's kind of remembered that they're remembered as characters, and I think people would be excited to see that. But yeah, I think probably.
Yeah, and like honestly, they seem like characters that would have been added in levels. Like if he was still around, I would totally see them being levels. Like one of them being
Definitely.
one of the
Yeah.
cast characters, and the other one being the premium. Like they would both come side to side. So
Yeah, so here is my proposal. I think it would be okay for them to add Phil Hartman's characters. And in fact, I think, for me, I think it sounds really bad, but like a lot of time has passed since this happened, right? And it's not like Phil Hartman's characters are not present in the show in the new seasons. They are forever in the background. You can spot them quite often. Actually, they'll have like Troy McClure and Lionel Hutch just faded off in the background, in crowd shots and stuff. I think like one year in the Surfsons episode, they had Troy McClure's up on his head on a spike.
That was pretty controversial. I remember that.
Yeah. So like these are characters who are always in the background, and so I think if they were, it'd be okay for them to add them, but they'd have to do it in a very particular way. Like you said, they would not have to have no voice at all. I think. The only way you can add these characters is to add them for free. They cannot have a price behind them because that would be, I think, very shitty.
Yeah.
And I also think they would have to be like a one-time thing. Or alternatively, you get them in this one update and then maybe next year a similar update comes back where you can get them for free again. Kind of like Tom O'Flanagan, how Tom O'Flanagan used to be, where you could get him at like every St. Patrick's Day.
I think just with your advice, I think, introduce him in an update, but maybe put him as part of the levels.
Yeah.
So everyone could be able to get him, but
like
he's never behind the paywall.
Yeah. Like an epilogue to the levels could be a nice idea.
Level 61, I guess.
Well, yeah.
There you go.
Or you could just do like level, 900 and whatever it is, like the final level. Just be like, hey, there's a secret quest line, and and it's Troy McClure. It's like, hi, I'm Troy McClure, blah blah blah.
And of course they can make a joke about it. It's like, oh, it's been years since they've done this, and now they're adding it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good idea though. But I like that. You're kind of making it like an extra level sort of thing. But like I said, they would have to be free. I don't even think they should be cash. I think they should literally be free, as in you just
just there.
Yeah.
End game prize. There you
go. Anyone else have something to say?
What would be the animations if they were being added though? Like usually they do 2 animations for each character, right?
I think all out with the animations. No raccoons in their animations for sure.
Maybe like God, where he has an animation for almost every task.
Yeah. That would be cool. I think they would have to go all out.
It would be interesting too. If one of the quests when he goes into buildings, like where Troy McClure is go visit the fish tanks or something like that, because
maybe something. What about like fade into the background? I feel like that'd be kind of how Robert was talking. I feel like that could work.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't even think they should be involved in like future quest lines and stuff. Just keep them out of it. I think that's fine.
This is there. Yeah.
Just kind of keep them exclusive to their one little thing. And if you want, you can even do a tribute to Phil Hartman. Although it's been a few years, you could do like a little tribute, and I think that could be really sweet. And I think it could work out.
Yeah,
definitely. All right.
Anything else to say?
No, let's.
I think that's all.
Okay. Arfur, you want to lead us into our next segment?
Yes. So the next segment is going to be having a look to the show, and so we're going to be having a look at the Brushed with Greatness episode.
Okay.
This was my fault, by the way. I decided to pick this because I was like, well, we had this Splash More update, so why don't we do this? And I remember, oh wait, it was only there for like 10 minutes and everything. Now we have to deal with the other 20 minutes or the other 15 minutes of this show. So it's like, okay, this is going to be slim pickings.
So yeah, who wants to start? Why don't we just start talking about like what our thoughts on the update is, or the episode is, before we talk about what to add.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I thought the episode was. I really enjoyed it, to be honest. I think the way it started was really kind of smooth. Homer getting stuck in the slide, leading on to the plot with the weight, and then Marge had her story. I just really liked all the way the story went and the episode, really. Yeah,
I always forget like how good classic Simpsons is. I really enjoyed this episode. The Mr. Burns plot, the opening, and Homer like going on a diet. I felt like everything just really tied well together.
Yeah.
And I just kind of had like a big smile on my face the whole time. It was a really great episode.
It was always nice to kind of go back into the past and watch some of the classic episodes. Like this was like in season 2, so this was like the second year into this, and you can tell why this has been going on for such a long time, just because of the humor that had it in there. But yeah, the beginning part was like always funny what led into that, and I love how they kind of connect each story together. And of course, like because it's been out for so many years, there's always been quotes I've always had with this particular episode with some of the stuff, like Mr. Burns being like, someone likes me up there, Smithers," and it's just like, someone likes you down here too. Shut up. It's just a lot of it is just funny, especially with more character development and all that. And yeah, it was nice to see a Homer arc where they try to lose weight. I do love the fact though that they made it so ridiculous. Like technically in the episode he weighs 260 pounds, which normally people who weigh that way they don't look that fat, but they make it like he's morbidly obese. And I thought it was kind of funny how they over exaggerate things, but yeah, very tiny slide.
MagnusRobert, you want to talk more about the episode?
Yeah, I hated the episode. No, I'm joking. I no.
Oh no.
I like this episode. Do you know what? Weird. I was watching this. I was like, I swear I've like never watched this episode before. I mean, I must have because I remember the Smash Bros stuff quite well. But like, I just don't. The second half of this episode, I kind of forgot. I've definitely watched it before because I've done like a few runs of classic Simpsons before, but I like watched it and it was almost like I watched it for the first time. It kind of felt like it because generally I forgot. I remember like the infamous scene with the Burns painting, like I remember that scene, but apart the rest of it I kind of forget. I kind of forgot about. I like it. Like you said, it starts off quite nicely with the Mount Splashmore stuff, leads on into the Homer Waite stuff, which then leads on to the Marge painting stuff, and then those two stories clash together at the climax, which I really liked. I always like it when they actually tie their A and B plot together. When they're completely discontinued, this is, I think, one of the biggest issues with modern Simpsons, is they have their A plot and their B plot, and they're completely unrelated, and they both have two separate climaxes. And I think it's much better when they climax together. So Homer obviously gets insulted by Burns and wants to give up on his weight thing, and Marge kind of suddenly realizes the bitterness and ugliness of Mr. Burns and kicks him out. But the resolution's quite nice because she obviously sees some humanity in him with his naked, frail body, which I actually quite like that little twist. I don't think I understood it as much when I was younger, but I think it's a nice...
Yeah, especially the end bit too. I thought they made a last little joke nod with Burns is just like, "Oh, thank you for not making fun of my genitalia," and she's like, "I thought I did."
Yeah, but it shows Marge like isn't doing this to mock him. She's doing this to find the art. My only kind of complaint is it doesn't kind of revert back to status quo. It just kind of the credits force the episode to reverse back to status quo, because if this painting is so liked by Mr. Burns and so liked by the town, and she's this big painter, why by the next episode is she not still a painter? And I know like obviously Simpsons is a status quo show, but like this early they did have consistency. So I don't know, it's a minor complaint, it's not a big deal, but it's just that I really liked Professor Lombardo, is it?
Yeah.
I think I wrote his name down. Lombardo, that's his
Lombardo,
name.
Yeah. I think he was a great little addition. I think he's a great side character. He was really fun with his little gags here and there.
I think it was voiced by the guy who does Arnie Zip, isn't he?
Yeah, I think maybe.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what his name was, but yeah.
He sounds like Arnie Zip, but
yeah, so it might be him, because I remember there was a joke where Arnie Zip was like, "I want to introduce you to these guys," and it's basically all the characters he voiced, and he's just like, show offs.
Yeah, but overall I think it was a pretty good episode. Not many faults really. I think the jokes landed for the most part. Plot was pretty good, pretty consistent, and I do think the Homer weight loss stuff was a bit thin, but it kind of starts off as the A plot and then kind of transitions to the B plot, and I think for that reason it works for what it is.
Yeah.
So,
I did
what
get
would you
there
rate it
after
out
the
of
episode
10?
then.
Yeah, here we go.
9 out of 10.
Oh, there you go. Very good.
Yeah, I'd go with 9 out of 10 as well.
I would
Yeah.
say, yeah. I mean, I would give it a 9. I would say, but that's just my bias because I like the classic stuff.
It's tricky. I think I'd have to go with an 8, to be honest.
Yeah, an 8.5. I guess I'll change mine. Just because like it's a good episode and I like it, but like there are other ones in season 2 that were like better, I would say. But,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
It's definitely...
Yeah.
There's nothing bad about it. It's just not stellar.
No, nothing bad. But like you said, there are some things where kind of like I know it's like an incontinuous thing where it's like only one thing happens in the episode and then everything just goes back to normal. But yeah, the way they ended off was just kind of like, okay, I guess that's it. Then they're done.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't we move on to the what we would add?
Of course. Shall we
so
start? Who wants to start?
Okay, I
I'll
guess
start.
I will since I've.
Oh, no. Yeah, Grim. Yeah, go for it.
So one thing I would mention is that we had this Splashmore update. Where's the mountain?
Yes.
You know, they had the Splashmore mountain.
Oh,
That could
yeah.
have been an
Yeah.
easy one to add, but no, they just decided not to add that. So
Yeah.
no, there you go.
This is
There's
definitely
one.
this is one I had. I kind of... So before the Splash and Burns update came out, I had an event idea in the works, and I probably will eventually get around to releasing it. But I also had a Cosmic Wars event idea, which has also been ruined. So I need to.
Thank you. Yeah, you ruined it.
I've ruined my event ideas.
Will we eventually get an actual Cosmic Wars update? Because
I want to release these event idea videos anyway, and like obviously preface it by saying yes, I know this stuff's been added, but I don't care.
It'd be interesting to see how close they decide. Like, it makes you wonder if they ever look and go like, "Oh, that's a good idea. Let's just copy his stuff."
I wouldn't mind if they did that, because I think my stuff's good. No, but so I did like a mount, and my final prize was going to be the mountain, like as the actual like big final prize, as the big like last hurrah. And yeah, I just think the mountain, like the fact we've got Mount Splashmore, we've got parts of Mount Splashmore, but not the actual Mount Splashmore, like the actual mountain.
Yeah.
It is a bit silly.
So yeah. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Go on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there was the Rockabye Riptide, which I got.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, that could have been a
yeah.
pretty
Go to the
interesting.
deep end. Don't go to the shallow end.
I think that could have
Honestly.
been like one of the bundles, to be honest.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
probably could
With
have fit in
the
the
small
bundle.
ride and all that stuff, I think that would have added perfectly with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? MagnusRobert.
Oh, Professor Lombardo, obviously, or Lombardo, whatever you say.
There you go.
Okay, so I have.
He's a must.
Yeah, he's
I have a
definitely
few.
good character. Stick with one. We'll take into it.
Okay. Mine was probably not. Probably won't be added, but he is one of the live Beatles, so I would say Ringo Starr.
Ringo Starr.
Because he is still alive, and of course they normally ask the stars if they want to be added. They did that with Stephen Hawking and Weird Al. And Ringo Starr is alive, and I feel like they could probably add him, especially because he did do voice acting in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be cool.
Yeah. Okay. What else? Who wants to go next?
We'll go back to Grim, I guess.
Okay.
With I'm back at doing this again. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a few things listed here. One item I figured that I didn't think I saw. I tried looking at this and I don't think they have it, but they don't have the community college. I
Oh.
thought that would have been interesting to see them kind of. Although to tell you the truth, we don't see the actual building itself, but that never stopped them before by making one
I
up.
do believe they have they show the community college in other episodes, like outside.
I think they have the
Okay,
there's the community theatre God, there's
I think
so-
there's multiple
Yeah.
ones.
yeah, no, there's like because
Yeah.
there's like the performing arts one as well, and then there's the there's like a bunch that they all look the same. It's basically like the same building, but they sometimes call it
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah.
But in this episode, we only see the interior of it, and I'm pretty sure, from what I looked at, I'm pretty sure this is the only time we actually see it of that name. I think there is another one with a similar name, but it's not the exact
Yeah.
same name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Was it
Oh,
Paul-
just a
Arthur next?
final one.
Oh, go on.
Sorry. Yeah. It was Mr. Schindler, who was Marge's
Yes.
art
Yes.
teacher.
Yes.
I forgot about that one.
I've got him down as well.
Yeah, I looked at all the episodes and I just wrote down everything I think would be possible, so I'd be okay, whatever. Good picks.
Yeah.
Alright, but you got another?
Yeah, I've got like I'll only say one, but I'm gonna say the Springfield Palace of Fine Arts.
Yes, I had that
Yeah,
down as
yeah.
well.
Yeah,
Good
go.
one.
I think that would be a good building for Professor Lombardo.
Yeah, that'd be
Oh,
nice.
Definitely,
Yeah,
I
that'd
think
be a
that'd
good
be the
combo
one that
building.
he'd come with. It would be one that makes sense.
I mean, the only last one I have is the Mr. Burns painting. I just think that could be kind of cool.
Yeah, you
That would've been-
cannot have that update without the Mr. Burns painting.
I feel like
That feels like that'd be a currency.
I know.
No.
Oh, I know, but I kind of would like
They
it.
have
Wonder how
added
they're gonna
stuff
do
like
it.
that.
I
Are they gonna have,
kind
like,
of-
a little rope?
I know that they wouldn't do it, but if they had it like as a smallish decoration, and maybe there was like a plant pot, like a little plant, obviously covering his
Oh yeah.
private
Yeah,
parts,
yeah,
yeah.
like,
And then you could like,
yeah.
place it down. Like it's on like a little stand, and there's like a plant pot next to it covering his, I think that could be a decent decoration, and it could fit in with if they were to do like a sort of tie-in with this episode, with the latter half of this episode anyway. It could be a pretty interesting little decoration to have.
Yeah.
Or
Anything
pretty funny
else to
one.
say?
I do have another one here. Or, I mean, I have a lot of them, but I'll mention one. Now, technically, this has appeared in many different episodes, but I'm very surprised they did not add this at all in the game at any point. But that's Marge's car, which is the orange station wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have
yeah.
never had this in here, but we have the Caramero. Yeah, we got that, but
Yeah,
not
yeah.
that was the other vehicle that kind of. And you would think that maybe in the Hell's on Wheels that would have been a perfect opportunity to do that, but no. I guess because they wanted to make it seem like, oh, the Simpsons only had the one car. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is definitely something I've talked about before, where it's really weird that they haven't added that. I mean, there's other big things that they haven't added before, like small little decorate. Like a big thing I think as well is like tasks for Snowball 2. Like Snowball 2 has just been forgotten about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for sure, Marge's car is definitely something they need to add.
Okay, yeah. Anything else besides that?
No, I think that's pretty much all.
The swimsuits for the kids and stuff.
We'll end it
Yeah.
there. We've talked about quite a bit of stuff there.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Arthur, you want
Wrap
to
everything
move
up.
us into the next segment?
Yeah, so next up, we are going to be having a look at your questions. And
No,
so,
wait, Blast from
Oh,
the
Q&A.
Past.
One more. We
Oh, Blast from the
have-
Past.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
Blast from the
yeah.
past.
So, coincidentally, Arthur chose this before the new update was announced, but we're going to be talking about Superheroes 1.
Yeah, now it's
Superheroes
very
one.
relevant.
The 2015 one.
Yeah, the original, the OG, the best one.
Yes, which I believe was released back in 2015 of February, I believe.
Yes.
Sounds right. to
Okay,
me.
who has played this update? I know me and Arthur haven't.
I have. Played
I
this-
have.
I have, I
played
did
this-
actually.
No, I have as well. Huh?
Oh,
Oh,
wait.
you did?
Yeah,
Okay,
but
cool.
I didn't know what was going on in the game. I think I was pretty young, so I didn't know how the game worked,
Ah.
but I remember it vaguely.
Okay.
I'm the
Um,
only person who hasn't played it, I guess.
You just watch Casey's videos and pretend you did it. Like, yes, I played it.
I've watched out there.
I
Ah.
think I was doing videos when I played this one, I'm pretty sure. I think I did a review for it all those years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I would love if I love how this update looks, so yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, this update. Okay, I Personally, this is my favorite update of all time. I think I would probably, I feel pretty confident saying that. Or at least it's definitely it's in my top 3 for sure, at the very least. I love the style of this update, the fact that it just so much care went into this update, I felt. So they changed like the text, they changed like how the splash screen kind of looked as well, like not just like they changed the splash screen, like the little login looked like a comic book and stuff. Like all the quest lines and stuff would, be different things. They added animations in this one, like little cutscenes, I should say, with Radioactive Man and Fallout Boy. Well, Fallout Boy. I don't remember.
Yeah, Fallout Boy.
Yeah, Fallout Boy. Well. Yeah, they actually added like so much care was put into this update. They had the little stuff with the with the leveling up the superheroes, and I don't think the crafting was that bad in this one either. It was quite easy.
They added cutscenes, and then he also added one of the interesting features with this game that had appeared sometimes in other ones, which is the boss battles.
Yeah, the boss battles. Yep. And as well, like, I just think the way that they utilized Fallout Boy, who was a pretty minor, character, I think was really, really solid, and then kind of ended it off with getting Radioactive Man at the end. I just think from start to finish, this update was just beautiful.
I do remember the tease that led into this update too. I think it was a Valentine's Day update where Millhouse decided to be Fallout Boy because Lisa was looking for Fallout Boy to make a message to her, but then they kind of sent off as a generic, "Oh, we got your message" type of thing.
Yeah.
So then they kind of had, "Oh, is the real Fallout Boy coming?" And a lot of people were like, "Ooh, is the superhero stuff coming up?" And then sure enough, there it was.
Yeah. Okay, so just going around, who wants to talk about like the style of the update, I guess?
I guess.
Which one?
The characters.
Oh, the characters, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Let's look. Arthur, you can go.
Yeah. I mean, the characters just amazing. Like, I just thought everything about the characters, the dialogue and everything. I think the big thing, the font and like the big bubbles and everything. They just made a real effort, and with the characters and the animations and everything.
Don't forget about the costumes as well.
And the costumes,
the costumes.
They were, and
Pie Man.
Also, there was
Pie Man being hypnotized or controlled by something.
The Bart Man was pretty good too.
Yeah, and I love the one thing about this update. Like, they had a lot of cutscenes and whatnot, but this was the first ever one, technically, like, you argue whether or not, but this was like the first one that you can fail a mission at, where you're like, "Oh, you suck. Radioactive Man died. Thanks a lot." And they're like, "Oh, that's cool. A little thumbs down."
Yeah.
So I thought, they really put a lot of effort into this. And even now, when people go into the mystery box and buy items from this update, and I think the other update that came up after, like a year later, like when you buy them, the little icon or the little pop-up window that kind of comes with the talk, it's like in the Comic Sans font. So people are like, "Oh, that's weird and interesting." But yeah.
It all comes. If you ever look at that and think, why is it different? It's because the whole update was like that. Like, it was so cool. They changed everything about it. They put a lot of effort into it for sure.
One of the characters we got in there is Blopper, which is like one of the more.
And I like. Well, it's a good example though.
The whole point with this movie. Yeah.
They tied him in so well into the update. Obviously, there's that little, he's a spider pig, whatever. But they actually use that kind of throwaway line. Yeah, they use that throwaway line and they tie him into this quest line. It's kind of an example of taking a character who probably shouldn't belong in this update on the surface, like plot the pig from the pig from the movie. Why is he in a superhero event? But they make it work with the quest line and how they tie it in and the animations and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
We got
we have like Fallout Boy and Radioactive Man here.
Dr. Colossus.
Yeah.
He's like one of my favorite characters.
There you go.
The Collider as well. I think they're all good. They're all bangers. They're all amazing characters.
They are. Yeah.
And of course, Radioactive Man being the grand prize after you beat his statue, and it's just like the way they tied it in there. Like, well, I never died. I was just sleeping. And then they get the hint of like I forgot what the guy's name is, but it's the crab guy.
Dr.
like
Crab.
Oh
Doctor.
yeah,
Dr. Crab,
Dr.
yeah.
Crab.
Yeah.
And he was in.
I love
Was he
how
in the
they.
second or third one?
He's in the second
He was
one.
in the second one, yeah, and it was weird too. Like one of the things is that when a lot of people ended up finishing this update, they felt like, man, this is a good update. This is a really great update. But I feel like they could have added more. And it's like a lot of people are thinking, oh, there's gonna be a part two. And sure enough, next year, like in the summer, which is probably the best time they did it, they're like, part two, which is where they add all the other superhero characters they didn't add. Like one of the I'm trying to think of the villain's name for the radioactive man, but there was like a group of villains that kind of appeared in there, and one of them ended up
Yeah,
coming in there with
the
the
King. Yeah, the Fossil Four.
there
Oh
you go, the
yeah.
fossil four, yeah. And we got a sneak peek at their little cutscenes, like they were in the conversation, but you had one of them there, and they're like, "Oh, he died." Like it kind of has the whole Batman being dead kind of thing, where it's like, "Ah, finally, my villain's dead," and it's like, "Oh, what am I gonna do now? I guess I'm gonna try to revive him because it's like, okay."
What did we think of
So yeah,
the buildings?
Building. There was like a lot of buildings in this
There was
update. Honestly,
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was actually very few decorations. There was only like 5.
they had
decorations.
all of
6.
those Dennis City update buildings, right?
Yeah, they were all
you got
buildings. Yeah.
yeah, you got the
Um,
classic Burns's weird art style prison.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
It
and
used,
Yeah.
it used
Yeah,
to be the orchestra,
they
but they're
tied
like,
that
oh, why
in.
do you guys?
Well, they tied in that and like the bank as well. Like those are 2 buildings again that don't really relate to this subject necessarily, but again they tied those buildings in really nicely as well.
Yeah.
For sure. And
what is the building? Oh, the Bartman cave. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's when they added Bartman, which is like one of those weird one of those weird characters that he just made on the spot.
Yeah, I like Bartman. I feel like one character that they still haven't added through all of the things is Cupcake Kid.
yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
I would like that character.
Yeah, they might do it one day. I think there's still a lot of stuff they could add.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, the one building I don't think should be a building is the crap silo. But the fact that it comes with
oh yeah.
Plopper and it was only 100 donuts kind of makes me forgive the fact that that's a building.
Yeah.
Yeah, the animation was just so cool.
Yeah,
All the
that's
animation, yeah. So
Yeah, definitely.
What would everyone think if this were added today? What would be your opinion on this?
I mean, I would probably want like a little more from it, considering like we do get a lot of content now. And of course there would be a super premium, but I would have loved it. This would have been an all-time favorite for me.
Oh no! When I
think a
say
lot of
if it
people
were
would
added
probably-
today, by the way, I mean if it were added in its current, like its actual state it was in when it was first
Oh.
added. Yeah.
I think
Not
I
as
think
in-
a lot of people would.
If they just
Yeah,
suddenly
I
went
think a
back to
lot-
the old stuff, like pretend this update never came out, and they just suddenly went back to the old structure and they chucked this at us.
I think a lot of
yeah,
people
I
would
would
like it. Yeah, I
I
think
would
the
really
only
like
thing
it.
people. I think a lot. Well, the only thing I could see people complaining about was probably the prize track because it was weird how they structured it, where there's only 3 prizes for like that track. Although it was weird because there was the only one that had 4 acts instead of like the usual 3 that we usually get. So it's odd that way, but it kind of balances itself out with a lot of the items you can craft and other ways you can get stuff too. So it kind of balances itself out, kind of. And then I believe you get a free character near the end of it, right? I think the first one was Clown Face. The second one was maybe I'm trying to think if
Oh, that's another thing.
Collector
Sorry.
was he?
Yeah, no, that's another thing to actually say. All of the characters are free. Every single one of the characters is free, apart from the Plopper.
The premiums and stuff.
And
yeah.
wait, was it Plopper and Petroleus Rex? Yeah, Plopper.
And Bartman is.
Yeah, and Bartman.
And Bartman,
and Bartman is a costume. But 3 premium characters, and the rest of how many is that? 3 of characters and costumes. 1, 2, 3.
And
4,
then
5,
that also
6, 7. 7 free. So 7 free
That's
characters
like
slash
unheard of
costumes.
now.
Yeah. That's
and
another big thing.
And then of course they brought back Fruit Batman for people who didn't get him during the tie-in episode. And I believe if you didn't partake, and I think you didn't partake in the the Valentine's Day update led into this update. I think you were allowed to also get Vigilante Boy or whatever his name was
Psychic
from Millhouse's
Millhouse,
costume.
It was only
Yeah.
Psychic
35 donuts, that one. I mean, the free Batman wasn't free. You did have to pay 90 donuts. But, I
it
don't know.
wasn't
I
too
think it's not a big
expensive,
deal.
no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I generally, like I said, I think this is like the best update they've ever done. Like I said, so much care, so much love, so much free stuff. Just amazing. And a great theme. Really fun theme.
The Colossal's building was kind of cool too.
Yeah, great building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Any
yeah.
final thoughts on this update?
No, I don't have much to say.
No, just
I think
amazing.
we pretty much said, I think we pretty much said what we needed to say.
All right.
Definitely a solid update altogether.
Let's.
Yeah. Arfur, you want to move
score?
us to our
Should we do
final segment?
Should we do scores real quick? Out of 10?
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
of course,
scores.
Yeah.
All right. For me, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Arthur?
Ooh,
9.5.
I think it's got to be a 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, so I'm the 9.5, I'd say, for me. Just because I think it's a very solid one, but I think it's like there were some things in there that could have been maybe slightly fixed. But again, it's been so long since I've actually played it, so I'm trying to recall exactly. But I really loved it all together with all the stuff they had in there. It's just more or less some minor things here and there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
There's more me being.
I'll accept anything over a 9.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's move into our final segment.
So yes, so the final section is now the Q&A.
So I get to answer all your questions.
By the way, again, we really need some more questions. Thank you to everyone who's left them, but we're still lacking a lot of them.
Yeah, well, I think
Come
another
on,
thing
man,
as well.
what are you doing?
We don't want to. We don't really want to be taking like 4 questions from the same person. Like ideally, like 1 question from per person. Obviously, at the moment, it's fine to leave like more than 1 question. But in the future, it'd be nice to actually pick the best questions.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start from KNW Productions. What franchises would you like to see get a city building game?
Let's just do
definitely...
one each. Let's do one each, just to keep it simple.
Okay.
You go.
Definitely Bob's Burgers.
Bob's Burgers. Okay.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'd have to agree.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty good. Yeah, there's a lot of
building
characters.
the wharf and town. It just seems like a really fun thing, and there's a lot of content. So
yeah. All right, Arthur.
Gosh, I think that was my top one, to be honest. Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
I can whisper you one if you want.
No. Trying to think of other ones.
you want us to come
Bob's
back?
Burgers would just be, yeah. Yeah, come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grim, you want to go now?
All right, I'm gonna pick. I had a few ideas, but I'll pick the one, and I think I'll pick the weirdest one, which I think would be Five Nights at Freddy's. The reason I say that is because of the actual people who play this game are like probably the same demographic, and mainly it's just my own sake that I wanted to have this happen. But I can totally see them do something with the franchise, especially since you've seen them to kind of make certain things up, and you can own your own little pizzeria and have your own little animatronics, and you can make it in the sense of like they've done it before where it's like a more kid friendly game, but they can also add little weird lore that kind of be like, ooh, what is this in the whole scheme of things, like they've always tend to like to do with the franchise. But
wouldn't there just be one building though there?
Yeah, it would be. Well,
it'd be more of an interior thing, would it?
Maybe.
Yeah, it would be more of an interior thing. Like I've seen like say, for example, the Addams Family Mystery Mansion. The whole thing was basically you design your own mansion, but they've kind of designed it in such a way where characters will come with decorations or something like that. So it's that would be where my idea would come into play. So it'd be more
that sounds cool.
Building your own, so it'd be like building your own pizzeria, kind of like expanding it, kind of deal. So
okay,
this is my thought.
Yeah.
I would like a Walking Dead one.
Didn't they originally have one? I do remember.
There's the social game, but the social game it's not like a city builder. It's like there is a
yeah.
Oh wait,
it was
no,
more of a zombie survivor, right?
No, there's another one. I know you're talking about. I forget exactly what it's called. Where you like build your own little base, but I kind of want one with the like similar to Tapped Out, where you like place the buildings from the like the various different locations from the show, and you kind of build up your zombie apocalypse world.
Yeah,
and
I can totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I want it to be like
zombies with your fingers.
Yeah, no, I want it to be like
that'd be
Tapped Out,
fun.
but I want it to be like Tapped Out, but with Walking Dead characters and Walking Dead buildings and locations. That's what I would like it to be.
Okay, Arfur, do you have an idea now?
Yeah. I think something Stranger Things. One. I mean, I love Stranger Things.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Having like a Subway pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
Build up Hawkins and then maybe some sort of like expansion for the other places. That would be really cool.
Yeah, no, that definitely could work. You could animate
get different
well.
versions of the characters from different seasons, like
and you could like
the first and
switch it up, like your area up to the Upside Down. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, like a
to be able to have two areas,
like a Krusty Land sort of situation.
Yeah, except it doesn't suck.
Yeah. All right. Shall we move on to the next question?
Yes.
I think BoRt might just be a bit indisposed at the moment.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got 3 from Stavron, so let's just do those.
Let's fly through them.
What's the best looking building in the game?
Best looking building in the game. Oh.
I have one, but I don't know if it counts as a building.
Go say it.
Okay, so we were talking about the superhero update. The second one, I'm trying to think of what the name of it is, but it has the Pinchy boss battle.
Solitaire Factory, something like that.
Soylent Red
Factory. That's it, yeah.
Solid Red Factory, that's it.
Yeah.
That's what I would go as, just because you get to have different phases of Pinchy, and then you can have the broken building. So I thought, I mean, I think at first it does drop cash, but I don't recall because it's been a while since I've touched that building. So, but if that counts, then I'd choose that one.
Do you know what? Off the top of my head, it's really tricky.
It is.
Yeah, like off the top, there's so many buildings in the game. Do you know what? Planet Hype. I really like Planet Hype.
Oh yeah.
Bit of a random one, but there you go.
I'll go next. I have not, just off the top of my head, it's definitely not the best, but thinking right now, I really like the design of H2O, so I'll just say that for now.
Boo.
Okay.
Alright. Next question. Wait, did everyone answer?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
John?
There's definitely better, just off the top of my head.
Just as a moment.
I think mine would probably be the Cookie Castle. Bit of a
Oh yeah, that's a nice one.
Oh, the one from last year, I think, right?
Yeah,
Alright, next question.
Okay. Who would want to fight Gravedigger Billy or Groundskeeper Willie?
Gravedigger
Billy.
Really?
Really?
Oh, actually, no. Wait, no.
Oh,
It's not even a question. Yeah, obviously Groundskeeper Willie. I didn't even think about that.
Willie, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because, like with Billy, I mean,
Billy's old.
Like, this is a joke. Yeah. But Willie, we've seen many times before his strength, and the guy really knows how to,
Grease me up, woman.
Yeah, I know. Unless, of course, depending on the battle, is it like, do they have to have, he has his rake and then Billy has his shovel or something like that?
I think even there, like Willie would win.
Yeah, still.
Yeah. I will say, though, if Billy does end up kicking Willie, I can see him burying him somewhere. Because,
that's a good pun. Willie was to go, who's the gravedigger now, Billy? It's Willie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, let's just move on to what is the worst update ever in Tapped Out?
Worst ever update is probably Easter 20, whatever it was. Easter 2014.
Okay, I didn't play it, but it's either... Actually, you know what? I'm going to say one that I played. Definitely Springfield Enlightened, because that's the one I played. If not, I would say Clash of Clones, but Springfield Enlightened.
That's up there for sure.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is this question basically like universally everyone agrees which is the worst one, or is this in your own opinion which is the worst one?
In your opinion.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, in my
Okay,
opinion.
that's what I figured too. Because if it was the first, that would be no hands down have been the Easter one because of like the way they handled that was just like, oh God, they never brought that mechanic back ever again. So
Yeah.
they learned their lesson.
Okay, Arthur, what do you think?
I'd say the worst one that I've ever played, Rise of the Robots. Got to be.
Oh, okay.
Boo. Right, carry on. I think we've answered that one before. I swear we've done this
Yeah.
before.
Now I'll probably pick mine because I'll pick one that I actually had a say in. Well, there's actually two. One of them it's not like I hated the update, but it brought something in that kind of like I live to this day having to suffer with. And the other one is more of something I just this not really my preference. So the one that wasn't really my preference would be tapped ball. And the only reason I say that
Oh,
is because and here's the thing, it's not like I don't hate the update. I love the little mechanic they have there and all that stuff. It's just the theme of it was not my taste. I did not like the idea of sports. It's just I'm one of those
Heresy.
weird kids where it's like, oh, I'm sorry, teacher. Here's my sick note. I can't partake it, but sorry. I'm that kind of kid. So it's just like having
yeah.
everything themed around sports. It's like,
Grim, you're
but
banned.
you
You're
know.
never coming on the podcast ever
No,
again.
I know. I saw your thing. You're like, oh, tap ball, the best one. So I knew I was gonna get hate on that. So
Uh,
yeah, no, but the one update I will mention that I kind of have a grievance with is BoRt Royale, and the only reason I say that is
ah,
I love the update, but here's the thing. I don't know if you remember this, but there was a glitch that happened which caused a lot of people's devices to break. And for me, I live with this to this day. The little top area where you get to click on the character, broken. Does not work anymore. And some of the items ended up not working anymore, except now or with the new updates, they seem to have fixed that. But no, ever since this day, I can never click on the little top left button. So I always have to go to the town hall just to scroll through the list to find the character I'm looking for, and then just click on them, then to find out where they are in my big Simpsons town.
That's weird.
So
Gosh.
yeah,
okay.
it was weird, and that was the weird thing about it too, because when I was looking up to how to fix this, their solution was, "Oh, we'll just reset you to before that glitch happened." I'm just like, no, I'm not doing that. I already
Yeah.
had so many progressions, so I'm just like, yeah, I'll live with it.
All right.
Okay,
Next
and
question.
yeah, why don't we move to our last few? Both these last two are both from Vader. What's your favorite NPC of all time?
Oh, favorite NPC probably would have to be
Mm,
the Spuckler Brood, to be honest, because they actually earn cash.
Yeah.
Because they're like the best of both worlds. They're an NPC, but they also earn cash.
Okay, odd opinion, but I'm gonna say Chippy because he makes cash, and I
Chippy
just
is
love the
too. Yeah.
design.
Spuckler. To be fair,
Yeah.
yeah.
Chippy I think would actually be there as well. I forgot about Chippy there for a second.
Grim, what do you think?
I'd go with Big Claw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Big Claw's
Big
another one.
Claw.
Yeah.
That was
That's
pretty
because
nice.
it was
Yeah.
an interesting character, like it was a unique character, and it also drops you like cash, and I think
Taps out
also
originally as well.
Heights
I think it was the
currency.
pills. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pills. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all of those are
Arthur,
pretty solid.
Arthur, what about you?
Oh, it's a hard one. I don't know. I think strangely, I did like the bear from the Springfield Enlightened update. Yeah, the
Pretty nice.
meditating
Yeah.
bear.
I didn't mind the
Yeah,
Mediterranean
Yeah.
bear.
yeah.
Okay. And last
Oh, wait, no,
one was just a
sorry. It's Springy.
Oh.
Springy's the best NPC.
Springy.
Sorry.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
that's
Springy.
true.
There you go.
Ah,
Now you're gonna
Springy's
play.
the
Yeah,
Springy, the
he's the
Springy.
one.
Yeah.
Sorry,
love the song.
I'll get Killed by Spring King if I don't say that. Sorry, carry on.
Hands down, Springy best character
What? Okay.
from the
Last
update I
one.
hated the most.
Last one of the episode. What's your favorite costume?
Favorite costume?
Ooh. Oh, favorite costume.
Oh, probably Pie Man would be up there for sure. I don't know who I've actually said is my favorite definitive costume. Have I done a list like that before?
Mine has to be Shadow Knight, the one.
Oh
from
wait,
Bard
no,
from
Shadow
Game
Knight. Shadow Knight's one of the better ones as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Shadow Knight or Pie Man, one of those two for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. Grim.
I would say which Marge, because when you
Ooh,
were at
yeah.
the when you were in the beginning of the level, when you're trying to level up and do the like get corn or whatnot, you can have Marge do a quest to basically help speed up the transition. So it's instead of waiting 90 days, you can actually wait less half than that. So she has an interesting, like, she's the only
Yeah,
costume
that's
character that
yeah.
actually has an interesting mechanic with that. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. So
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, Arthur.
I really like the was it the USA Homer outfit from the Summer Games update.
Oh, the Homer one, Summer Games.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's a nice
yeah,
one.
I really like that.
yeah,
It's my favorite.
definitely, yeah.
Okay. Anybody have anything else to say?
I
No.
have a question.
Is there any more
Okay.
questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think I asked this in one of the last things, so I'm curious. What made you guys want to do tapped out videos?
Um.
Like, what made you think that, like, I'm making the YouTube channel talking about tapped out? I'm kind of curious.
All
I
right.
know I
Should we?
kind of
Should
talked
we?
about what
Should we?
like
Should we?
me.
Should we end with that? I think that'd be a good.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
All right.
So.
We'll start with the youngest of the channels, BoRt.
Honestly, just like I started out tapped out during the Summer Games update over COVID. Um, and then I was like watching Arfur and MagnusRobert and Casey Loves Gaming, I believe. And I just like kind of got inspired. I was like, you know what? I'll try it. And I think I got a lot of views on like a mystery box opening video or something. I'm like, wow, I can actually do this, and I just kind of have inspired to do it since.
Fair. We'll go Arthur next.
Yeah, I mean, well, originally, I think I had a lot of inspiration from Case Love Gavin and Magnus and 2001. When I started playing the game, I was always looking at like all the old videos, the old updates and things, and I just reached the point where I was like, well, I can do this myself. And I had kind of done YouTube before, but none of it was successful. So I thought, invest myself in Tapped Out, and yeah, it all seemed to build up a bit there. So yeah, pretty good.
Mine's a longer story. Basically, I'll try to give the short version. So years ago, 8 years ago, in fact, me and a couple of friends, or quite a lot of friends, wanted to make like a sort of YouTube. We were like quite young. We wanted to make like a YouTube kind of community thing, similar to the Yogscast, and it was going to be called Magnus. So I was MagnusRobert. There was a Magnus Kremlin. There was a Magnus Nick. There was a Magnus. I think Magnus Lyle as well. There was quite a few of us, and we were all going to be like this Magnus thing. And then that kind of fell apart pretty quickly. I was the only one actually bothering to upload, pretty much. And then my computer broke one day, and it was devastating because I couldn't make any videos. So I had to make videos on my iPad using was it iMovie? And because I couldn't screen record at that time, I decided to instead. I wanted to talk about Tapped Out because it was the only game I could play at that moment. So I decided to just do reviews of the levels and kind of start. And I also did event ideas too. I think my first video was a review. My second Tapped Out video might have been an event idea for the 4th of July. And yeah, event ideas. Nuclear Videos HD made 2 and then never did them again. They were inspired by him. So I think Nuclear Videos HD is my inspiration for Tapped Out for sure. Yeah, and then just kind of went from there. My computer got fixed, but I had like, a couple, 10 or 20, 30 people who are watching my videos regularly for Tapped Out, and so my channel slowly shifted to mainly Tapped Out. I've always tried to get out of it. I still get complaints till this day about people saying, why do you upload Walking Dead videos? You're a Tapped Out channel. I'm like, no, I never started off as a Tapped Out channel. Leave me alone. I've done Walking Dead videos before I did Tapped Out videos. I got stuck in this loop.
I know the feeling.
And now I'm trapped. And
Yeah.
I can't escape. I have to keep doing Tapped Out if I want to get views. And every time I do a non-Tapped Out related video, it negatively hurts my channel, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Agreed too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, Yeah, especially recently, it's really killed my channel doing all those Walking Dead videos.
It's just the algorithm.
You have to.
Yeah.
I know it's weird.
Yeah.
The algorithm does it, and
Well,
you
yeah,
have to do
'cause
videos.
Most your subscriber counts are kind of like pointless. I used to always be like so obsessed with how many subscribers I'd have, but then I realized subscribers mean nothing because
Nothing.
most of your views come from people who aren't subscribed. Like
Yeah.
60.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like 70 or 80% of my views come from that. It's probably similar to some of you guys as well. Like it's crazy.
That for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'd never really done the whole YouTube thing of like, oh, like and subscribe.
Yeah, yeah. I used to do it back in the day.
It's
I
like
never
there's no
bothered anymore.
point. If they like it, they'll like it. And, if subscribe, they'll subscribe.
I mean,
You
to
know,
be
other than
fair,
that, if they want to watch it, then that's it.
I
The only reason I do it, I'm just
never
trying-
like YouTube videos. I never hit the like button on YouTube videos.
I only do it
No, I
because
don't.
apparently now, if you don't do that, the algorithm messes with you.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Likes
Yeah,
on
they change it.
likes aren't a big thing. Comments are the biggest things. The more comments you
Yeah.
get, the
Yeah.
better you're in the algorithm.
Also,
Watch
you know,
time.
you-
Watch time is a big thing as well.
Yes.
If people click
Yeah.
out of your video 30 seconds in, and it's a 10-minute videos, your video is not getting recommended to anyone.
You know
Yeah.
you really made somebody an impact when they decide to do a comment on your video because, comments take so much effort. It's easier to put the like or dislike click a button, but to tell people that, can you give me a feedback? They're like, oh, okay, and they'll type.
So if you're watching right
something I've
now,
learned.
make sure you get in that comment section and type.
Yes.
We need
Well, actually, to be
questions
fair,
to-
if you've made it to this part of the video, you've probably done your part because watch time. That's pretty good watch time.
Oh,
right there.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my fault. Sorry.
All right. Shall we close it off now? We've gone a bit over our time limit.
Yeah. Thanks, Grim, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. You've been a great
Thank you,
guest.
everyone, for
No
watching.
problem.
Great.
I hopefully come back again sometime. Maybe
Yeah.
for the Halloween update coming soon. I'll
Oh,
make
yeah.
it.
Maybe we'll
That'd
see.
be very cool.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We
Yeah.
got some guests.
Okay.
We got some guests. We do have a guest we
okay.
want. We do have. I don't want to name names, but we do have a guest that we would really like to get on soon. But scheduling wise,
Ooh.
it's been a bit tricky.
Great. Yeah.
And that's the one thing I'll say that was really hard, but we finally got this one going, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome.
See everyone later. Bye.
See you in
See
the
you
next one.
later.
Bye.
Bye.